everyone. Welcome back to my storytelling channel. The following horror experience is told in first person. Please do not watch this alone at night. Campus horror, the footsteps. Back in 2015, I was in 8th grade. My school was built in the countryside, with the main building sitting right next to a small hill. It was about 400 to 500 meters away from the dormitory. At the time, my roommates and I had become completely obsessed with an online browser game. Being young and fearless, we would often sneak out in the middle of the night to play. In the classroom building, our school was a typical rural middle school, surrounded by farmland on all sides, with the nearest village a good 20-minute walk away. The classroom building was an old 2-story structure, its concrete outer walls already beginning to crack and peel inside. However, it had been recently renovated, and every classroom was equipped with computers and a projector. What made it truly unsettling was what lay behind the building, a small hill densely packed with graves. Some of the tombstones were so old they had tilted sideways, half gone swallowed by weeds and overgrown shrubs. Even in daylight, walking past gave you chills. At night, it was something else entirely. We were boarding students. Lights out was at 9:30 p.m. and dormitory checks happened at 10. But our addiction to the game was stronger than our fear of getting caught. During class, all we could think about was leveling up and farming for gear. Eventually, someone came up with the idea. The classroom building was anti-locked at night. We could sneak in and play there. At first, nobody dared, but temptation won out. And on a Friday night, we finally made our move. Our dormitory had a heavy iron gate that was locked every night. The key was originally kept by the dorm supervisor, but had since been handed over to a senior student. My roommate Zhao Wan happened to be from the same hometown as that senior, so he sweet-gun talked his way into borrowing the key and secretly made a copy. From that night on, we snuck out whenever we got the chance. I still remember the first time clearly. The three of us crept downstairs in complete darkness, terrified of making even the slightest sound. Moonlight streamed in through the corridor windows, stretching our shadows long across the floor. The iron gate let out a slow creak as it opened. We all froze. Thankfully, the dorm supervisor slept on the other side of the building and heard nothing. To reach the classroom building, we had to cross the basketball court. That night, the air was dead still. No insects, no one, just the soft shuffle of our footsteps on concrete. The classroom building loomed ahead, its dark windows staring down at us like hollow eyes. I glanced up at the hill behind it. In the moonlight, the tombstones glowed with a pale, ghostly white. I looked away and walked faster. Our classroom was at the far end of the first floor. The back door lock had been broken for months. One push and it swung open. Inside, the air still carried the faint smell of chalk dust from the day's lessons. The blackboard had been erased. We booted up the computers and logged in. The internet was painfully slow back then. The loading screen seemed to spin forever. We barely breathed, terrified someone might walk in at any moment. And so our midnight sessions began. Usually it was 3 of us, playing until 3 or 4 in the morning before slipping back to the dorms. Sometimes we got so absorbed that we did look up and realize dawn was nearly breaking, then scramble back in a panic. The closest call we ever had We just snuck back through the iron gate when we heard the dorm supervisor getting up. We nearly got caught red-gun-handed. That semester was strange. Despite staying up every night, I somehow felt sharp and alert in class the next day. Youth is something else. These days, one night past 3 a.m. and I'd be finished. We kept this up for most of the semester, until the night everything changed. It was the Yi-Wu-Th night of the lunar month. The moon was full and blazing bright, casting the schoolyard in a pale silver light, as if frost had settled over the ground. We snuck out as usual, me, Zhao Wen, and Zhao Li. Since 2 classrooms had broken back gun door locks, we split up. Zhao Wen headed to a 3rd gun floor classroom upstairs, while Zhao Li and I stayed in our own classroom on the 1st floor. The room was quiet. Only the low hum of the computer fan filled the air. Zhao Li and I shared one computer, taking turns. Everything felt normal. Then, at around 2:30 am, while Zhao Li was in the middle of a game, I heard something in the hallway. T-Huo-P, T-Huo-P, T-Huo-P. Clear, rhythmic, deliberate. It was the unmistakable sound of rubber flip gun flops slapping against a concrete floor, the kind of worn plastic sandals common in rural areas, with that distinctive, hollow smack on every step. The sound was coming from the direction of the stairwell, and it was getting closer. Hey, do you hear that? I nudged Zhao Li. He set down the mouse. His face had gone pale. Yeah, is that a teacher? We killed the game. Audio immediately. The room fell into a suffocating silence. The footsteps were steady, unhurried, each one echoing in the empty hallway. Closer, closer. A teacher would use a flashlight, I whispered. The moon is bright enough. We'd see the beam through the window. Could it be Zhao Wang coming downstairs? Zhao Li's voice was trembling. The footsteps had reached the area just outside the back door. We crept to the front door and peered through the window into the hallway. Moonlight spilled across the corridor in pale, uneven patches. There was no one there, but the footsteps continued, and the back door, which had been shut, was now open. Just a crack. A wave of cold swept down my spine. My legs went weak. Zhao Li had grabbed my arm with both hands. I could feel him shaking. I thought about the hill just outside, the graves, the crooked tombstones. I'd heard that when the school was built, they had relocated several burial sites to clear the land. The moment that thought surfaced, every hair on my body stood up. Zhao Wan, I called out, forcing the words through a trembling throat. Silence. Then I remembered. Zhao Wan was still in the game. We were in a party together. I looked at the screen. His character was still moving. I ran back to the keyboard and typed with shaking hands. Did you come downstairs? His reply came immediately. No. Still up here. That was it. We were done. I hammered the power button until the monitor went dark, grabbed Zhao Lei by the arm, and we bolted out of the classroom. Standing in the hallway waiting for Zhao Wang to come down was the longest minute of my life. The darkness at the end of the corridor felt thick, like something was in it, watching us without blinking. The moment Zhao Wang appeared, we grabbed him and ran back in the dorm. Part of me still wondered if it was a prank. We pressed Zhao Wang. Had he snuck down to mess with us? He looked genuinely confused. No, I never left the room. We told him exactly what we'd heard. When we got to the part about the flip gun flop sound, all three of us looked down at his feet at the same time. He was wearing sneakers. None of us three was wearing flip-flops. Zhao Li had been wearing them, but Zhao Li had been right beside me the entire time, never more than an arm's length away. So whose footsteps were those? Nobody said another word. We climbed into our beds and pulled the blankets over our heads. The next day, we told our roommate Kiangji, the boldest guy in our dorm. After listening quietly, he said, "Now that you mention it, something happened to me too. One night I went to the classroom building alone, around the same time, maybe RM. On the way back, I heard something coming from the direction of the old, abandoned cafeteria. A child crying, faint, broken, like it was far away or muffled. I figured it was just the wind, pushing through gaps in the school's outer wall. I hear weird sounds like that sometimes. But then I thought about it." He paused. "The old cafeteria is inside the school grounds. There is no outer wall on that side." His words hit me like a bucket of cold water. I suddenly remembered, on several of our late gun night trips, walking past the old cafeteria, I'd always felt like something was watching me from behind. A chill on my back, an urge to walk faster. I had dismissed it every time. Maybe I should have. After that night, none of us ever went back to the classroom building after dark. But every time I walked past it, I thought about those footsteps, steady, rhythmic, coming closer in the dark, and the hill behind the building, where the tombstones stood pale and silent in the moonlight. That's it for today's story. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to subscribe. And if you've had an experience you can't explain, something that still gives you chills, drop it in the comments below. Your story might just be featured next time.